Yeah, late to my own show. I was busy off doing something. Forgot what time it was. Uh, Welcome to Rick's Tech Pub on a what is today? Wednesday? Hmm. Hmm. Again, messages. I gotta catch up with her later on. Uh, you know, is anybody here today? Probably not. So this could be a rather short stream if nobody's gonna show up here in the next 5 minutes and a quarter after. I'll probably just leave. Oh. Yeah, where are you going out today, John? I can. Went to Baraboo to pick up another parakeet. Another parakeet? How many do you have? Probably just one or two, but parakeets, I find them noisy. Or found them to be noisy. 45 minutes north of Madison. I'd have to look on the Minnesota map. I forgot where Madison is. I used to go to Wisconsin quite a bit in the 80s. My parents would go visit their parents, and they lived in Ohio. So we'd go through Wisconsin, which took a full day back in the 80s because you were at like 50, 55 miles an hour. That was an all day journey going through Wisconsin. Hey, William. Quick note about yesterday. Um, Yesterday's Zoom home meeting, or whatever you call it. You guys might think I understood anything you said of what you were talking about. I don't. I don't understand that kind of stuff. I'm completely illiterate to understand or learning that kind of stuff. That's why I was quiet because you guys had me all confused as to what you were talking about. I couldn't make heads or tails of it. Four? Ugh. I don't know. I don't know. That'd probably drive me a little bit batty having 4 or 5 parakeets in the house. I'm not a bird person anyhow. My dad is. He used to study birds quite a bit. You know, bluebirds, jaybirds, or whatever you call them, all the kind of birds outside. He used to have a book on them, and he'd study on them. But anything about birds, I'm clueless on something like that. We're about 45 minutes north of Madison. Huh. I don't know, I'd have to look on Google Maps, Street View, and try to figure out whereabouts you are. If I can even understand how to do that. I've tried using Google Maps, Street View, and ouch. So I haven't been doing anything yet today, guys. I kind of got up around almost 1 o'clock. Just didn't feel like doing anything today, and I've got nothing to do outside, so I'll be staying home today. Hello, Charlie. Yeah, it's another nice day here. It's sunny, it's warm, and I don't know, I probably won't go outside today. Really nothing for me to do anymore. Or nothing to really do here anymore, so in my apartment, so I gotta dust again. It's getting dirty around here. Yeah, I think you guys saw last night how much of an idiot I am. Last night, I didn't comprehend anything you said last night about that Windows whatever you were working with last night. I didn't understand or comprehend one word of it. You'd be better off getting your answers from William, Brian, anybody else but me on something like that. Hell, Josh is probably better at answering some of those things better than I am. At least he'd give you some kind of an answer of I don't know or try to guess at it, and I don't know how to do that. Oh yeah, and Wintermute, he can give you. I mean, Wintermute was giving you answers, and I couldn't understand what he was telling you. But one thing I did hear about, kind of in the Windows news, is Windows is going to start forcing advertisements full screen. So you'll be watching a YouTube video or something else on doing something else, and they're just going to come out with a full size, full screen ad. And from what I read, from what I understand of it, which I really didn't, looks like there's no way of getting out of that. Once it goes full screen, there's nothing to click on to get rid of it. You're gonna have to watch the whole 2 or 3 minute video or advertisement, just like you do on TV. You can't get away from the ads on TV. Well, Windows is now starting to do the same thing. Yeah, I don't like it that they're gonna start doing that, but I've heard this stuff from YouTube, so I don't know if it's true or not. You'd have to go to Brightech's channel, Brian Brightech, and at least I think it was him that gave out that. Hmm. Maybe I can't. Thought it was Brightech that said that. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and fiddle with it and try to find it, but I think it was Brightech. No, this is bugging me now. I'm gonna have to go find it. 'Cause it's on YouTube, so I don't know if it's true or not. I'm getting kind of leery of believing anything on YouTube nowadays. And YouTube Studio, you're behind by about 10 seconds. Where was I going? Over here. And there's a lot of things about File Explorer I don't understand. Even the word File Explorer. What the hell does that mean? I don't know. Seriously, honestly, don't. I'm gonna have to do this the hard way. Yeah, I think it was Brightech that did that yesterday. I think. Oh, this is ridiculous. Where in the H did it go? Yeah, it is from Brightech. Microsoft Force full screen ads. So you guys can go watch that if you wanna try to understand it. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Is you're gonna be watching something on the internet, and they're just gonna force a full screen ad that you can't X out of and you can't change. I don't know. They might, like they do. They allow 30 seconds and you can skip the ad. I think on full screen ads, you're not gonna be able to do that. Just like on TV, watching TV, if an ad shows up, you have no way of getting around it, unless you're on one of those whatchamacallits where you can skip the ads on TV. I don't think Windows is doing that. I think they're just gonna force you to watch the ad or ads. I don't think it's just gonna be one. I think it's gonna be two, three, four ads, maybe just two. But I think they're gonna work themselves. Start off with one, and then a little while later they're gonna get into two and maybe three. I don't know. I think they just might stick to one, but it's gonna be like a 2 or 3 minute video advertisement. Oh, Ken, you put out a video today, or a live stream, or whatever it was. Tuesday, September 17th. Oh, this is for Wednesday. But it was 1 hour ago. How could it be for Wednesday? Am I wrong on my day? Yeah, okay, it is today. Today is what? Why did my phone say Thursday? Okay, I got my days mixed up. It is Wednesday, I think. I'm still not really sure on that. Google Photos conundrum. Okay, right there, you've lost me. Conundrum. And the other show I've been, or the other person I've been watching on YouTube is Gentry and Sons Trucking. It's a good thing to watch. I have to be careful of talking when people walk by because I was talked to yesterday out in the hall is how I'm sitting in here talking to myself. Say, do you always have to be talking to yourself? Like, no, I'm actually on a live stream. What? Like, never mind. No, I'm not talking to myself. And they think I am, so I didn't argue with her. Robert Redford, he died. I can't even remember who he is. Robert Redford. What shows he was on? Hello, Halsies. Yeah, but around here you're not supposed to. Because people have actually gotten the police called on them for doing that. People around here don't like people doing that. Sundance Kid? Must not have watched very much of him because I'm not familiar with that. I didn't get the luxury as a kid and a teenager or as an adult to watch TV. And the older I got, the more I didn't miss it. So for the last 6 years, maybe almost 7, that TV that you're seeing right there, I haven't used it in almost 7 years, 6 years. I just don't watch TV. There's nothing on there that I want to watch. YouTube is starting to become the same way. I mean, there's a lot of days where just there's not a lot for me to watch. So I think I know why that is because of what YouTube's doing, and a lot of creators are starting to drop out because the restrictions that YouTube is putting on them, on all of us. So I think I've watched a lot of YouTube videos where people are just starting to quit. They don't want to do YouTube anymore because of what YouTube is doing, and a lot of people just lose interest. Oh, that's why I don't remember. Yeah, I would have been a kid in the 70s. Which would explain his age. If he's, what, 89 or whatever he is. That would explain why he was in the 60s and 70s. And, again, back then we weren't allowed to watch TV. As teenagers or kids, as I was. My parents just forbid us to watch TV. They said there's nothing you're gonna learn on TV, so go out and do your chores all day. Go find something else to do. And that's why I kind of have it in my head nowadays that watching TV. Damn, what are you people doing out there? That's why I have it in my head that watching TV is a bad thing. Because I was raised up to believe that there's better things to do than sit in your hind end and watching TV all day. I know people around here they do that. Just sit on their butts all day, sit on the couch from morning all the way till night. They'll shut the TV off when they actually go to bed. I don't see how somebody can do that. Yeah, Stash. Yeah, it's going okay. IPTV. Oh, Netflix clones. You have them, but you don't use them. Yeah. Yeah, I tried Netflix for a while, but I don't know. I used it for a while and I quickly lost interest in it. So, yeah, the hallway is busy today. What people walking up and down the hallway. It's an active hallway out there. But I've never really gotten into Netflix. Not really into YouTube anymore, except for the subscribers that I'm subscribed to. I watch them, but a lot of stuff on YouTube I just don't watch anymore. which I'm probably going to have to get into because it was, the colder weather coming up here in a couple of months. Yeah, I'll be sitting in here and doing a lot more sitting, so I'll have to find something to do. I don't know what IPTV is. VLC on an Android phone? Huh. Hmm. Internet Protocol TV. That doesn't help me understand what that is. Protocol? Yeah, speaking of cell phones, I need to get a new one, but I don't want to pay the money for it. Back when they used to be cheap for like $200 phones, well, 100 and some dollars for the phone, and the screen protector is another $98 plus tax. You can almost triple that price today. It's like 200 some dollars for this phone and 120 some dollars for the screen protector, so you don't. So the screen, it protects the screen from shattering. If you take it up against a hard object and you smack it against something, your screen won't shatter, and that screen protector, I don't know, somehow stops it from shattering. And I'm just not. I need to replace that phone, but I don't want to spend the money for it. That's going to be almost $300. TV over the internet. Yeah, I usually go to Verizon to get mine. Because I've heard horror stories about everybody else, AT&T and T and all those other companies that, especially the phones when you get from Walmart. I'll never ever do that again. Never. Oh my God, that phone was a pile of. Well, you fill in the blank. So I know Verizon's more expensive, and I know me and Alex Cheek have talked about Verizon, and he won't touch Verizon with a 10-foot pole. I don't think he thinks anybody else should, but that's all I know is Verizon. So I'll walk in there with my tail between my legs. It's like, okay, I need to replace my phone. I know I'm going to pay an arm and a leg and a couple extra toes, but you got another phone? Oh yeah, we've got plenty. Anywhere from 200 up to a couple $1,000. Which one do you want? Like, never mind. I'll turn around and walk right back out. I'm a cheap person. If I can't get it for zero or nothing, then I don't know. And eventually, this phone is going to force me to go out and buy a new one because it's just going to shut off on me one of these days and not turn on. It's done that a couple times already. Unfortunately, all I did was took the back cover off and took the battery out, waited a couple seconds, put the battery back in, and tried to turn it. Then it turned back on. But it's done that like 4 or 5 times. So one of these days, that's not going to work at all. It's just going to shut off permanently. And I know I'm pretty close to it. And I just don't want to go buy a new phone. Plus, it takes a lot of work because I have to go through my dad and talk to him about it. And he's got restrictions on it. He won't want me to get those expensive phones. If the Verizon starts getting too expensive, he'll actually drop me down to getting a phone that costs $60 or $70, a real cheap, you know, thin plastic cheap phone for $70 $80. And he said you can use that for a little bit, and that's because my dad's not a money spender. Neither one of my parents are. They just don't like doing it, and they're kind of forcing me to go cheap on everything. Phone won't last more than a couple of months, but he said at least it'll get you a couple more months down the road. So yeah, but what do I do when that phone breaks? Probably won't have a cell phone after that. Like, oh great. Yeah, but yeah, hell, see, and my parents won't let me do that. They want me to get a phone for under $100. This one that I got was almost too expensive. And I talked to him about it, and he said, "Yeah, they're wanting 200 some dollars for it." You know, I mean, he paid for this one. I mean, but he didn't like doing that because they charged him 230 some dollars for a $98 phone. Yeah, but I can't do Amazon Prime. My parents forced me to shut down my Amazon account. And I was spending too much money there. So my dad called me while I was on the phone. He had me cancel everything. It was 2:32 already. Wow. Time flies when you're sitting here just talking to people. Oh, Carrie and ask your computer guy has a show coming up. GPS notifier. What the hell is that? I don't know. I might watch that for a little bit, but wild idea. You're already tech savvy. Yeah, I'd have no idea how to do that, Halsey's. That's something I don't want to get into. I would never understand how to do something like that. Starting to get a little cloudy out there. I'm wondering if we might get rain later today. I mean, it's partly cloudy. I see a little bit of blue skies out there, but off to the north or northeast, it's cloudy. I think the clouds are coming in our direction, so we could be looking at overcast here in about an hour or so. Shell debugging, I don't know how to do that. There's a lot of things, guys, that I don't know how to do. You know, you're looking at a guy that's failed special ed. Then I got a very, 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 very low GPA. Very low. Ghetto's is probably a little bit higher than mine, I would think. Yep. Um, Ask the computer guy is on with Carrie today at 3. My time, Central Time. So in about another 25 minutes, because it's 2:35 here. And I'm not really interested in watching him as much. I don't know. I like when he works with computers and stuff, but he hasn't been doing too much of that lately. I don't know. I like to ask the computer guy. Scott Merrill is his name, I think. I like listening to him. Actually, that's a pretty good conversation. I might listen to it for a little bit, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm losing interest in a lot of things. Just don't want to do anything anymore. Yeah, it's out there on the net, but I wouldn't be able to find it. Navigating around the internet hell seas is not my forte. That's one thing I don't know how to do. Just like this AI stuff that's coming out. I don't know how to properly put a sentence together for it to understand me. As I've tried it before, it said not, it couldn't understand me or try something else, and I say, forget it. I'm just not good for AI and putting words together. So I've tried it several times, and it didn't get me anywhere because it couldn't understand me. Could not understand my question. I know you have to, with AI, you have to put words in a certain order and only in a certain order for AI to pick up on it. I'm not that guy. I don't know how to do that. I've tried a couple of times, and yeah, Scott is a good guy. Yeah, I do like him. Yeah, I do like Scott. Actually, most of his interviews he does with people. Oh, Scott, Doug, and who's that other guy? I can't remember his name though. There's three of them he does interviews with, and I can't remember that other guy. He has that big, huge storage building with computers in it, and Kerry went and got two laptops. He worked on one yesterday, a red laptop. Cannot remember who that guy is. But that's my short term memory. I remember for 1 second, the next second, I was like, yeah, who are you talking about? That's true. I can't retain memory. Never been good at doing that. But yeah, I can't remember who that other guy is. Scott, ask your computer guy, Doug. Who's the other one? And I think he's in Wisconsin, I think, or somewhere out there. Yeah, I was. Yeah. Scott and the others aren't bad at watching. They talk about a lot of interesting stuff, but half the stuff just goes over my head. Is my comprehension level of understanding what people are talking about is so low that it just goes right over my head. Like, I don't understand. That's why I bought after about 10, 15 minutes of it. I just shut it off. Like, I'm not understanding you guys. Click. Click the mouse and go and watch something else. Sometimes their conversations get over my head. I just can't comprehend what they're talking about. I mean, I can hear it, but for my brain to process it, that's where my biggest learning disability is comprehending what people are saying and understanding it. That just doesn't exist with me. Yeah, I'd like to do Amazon Prime days, but neither one of my parents would let me sign up for um what is it, for another Prime account or whatever, get an account going with Amazon. The whole problem, see, my mom rats on me because she'll call my dad and said, "Would you talk to Rick about him spending money?" I can't get it through to him because I look at his bank accounts and all I'm seeing is Amazon, 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 Amazon. This is like a couple of years ago. So both my parents put a kibosh to that. And just saying being on Amazon, they said, is not a good thing. You should stay away from it. It's very unhealthy. Like, okay, I don't understand how it can be unhealthy, but okay. They're just not people that like spending money, and they don't think a lot of people should be spending money. I mean, my mom talks about all the time how her friends in her area go shopping all day. They'll spend like 3 or 4 hours at Walmart or at another store, and my mom just doesn't understand why people do that. She says, "I don't do that." Well, you're one of a kind. You're one person that doesn't do anything, so you don't think anybody else should do anything because it's not right. They shouldn't be spending their whole day out at a store. Don't these people have jobs or something? It's like, maybe they do, maybe they don't. So that's my difficulty in life. If I want to spend any kind of money, I've got to call them first and say, "Would it be okay if I go out and buy this? What do you need it for?" Well, because I need. I mean, like buying tires for. Well, that reminds me, I need to get that tire on there. I had to go through a fight with them getting a bike tire. They just didn't think I needed one until Easy Riders called him and said, "Yeah, his tire is badly worn out, and being that it's here, he can't have his bike back until that tire gets replaced, and a couple other things get replaced." So they were kind of forced to because one of the workers from Easy Riders bike shop called them. They called my mom first, and then I gave them my dad's number. So they hung up with my mom, then called my dad and kind of chewed him out, saying he has no option. We're not giving his bike back until these things are fixed. It's a hazard. And my dad kind of got pissed at him. Said, "Now you're holding his bike hostage because he won't pay the money." Say, well, my dad asked him, "Well, is it an option for me to pay for it?" And he said, "No." But okay, I guess you'll have to pay for it, which was 100 and bike tires and the tune up I got and a couple other things was 100 and some dollars. That's what my dad was pissed about, was spending 100 and some dollars. He said that he said it shouldn't be like that, but oh, there's a reason. I haven't put that bike tire on because my dad and my mom don't think I should. I said, "You've never been trained on how to do something like that. Take it back to the bike shop and have them do it. Yeah, it's $10 to take it off and $5 to put it on." I don't know. I might sneak around that and do it myself, but because I know how to, they just don't want me to. They said that's the bike shop's responsibility, not yours. Yeah, but they take so long. They'll keep it for at least Well, the last time they had it for 2 weeks because they supposedly forgot about it. They just couldn't get to it or whatever. And I can't go 2 weeks without a bike. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. It might be a little quicker in the winter. In fact, so that's when they want me to bring it back is in the winter because they don't have any as much to do in the wintertime as they do in the summer. Summertime, they're just overly busy. But in the wintertime, things really slow down. But their prices in the wintertime goes up because they're not doing as much. So I'm not sure how to work with that. I'll probably have to take it over to them or find somebody else to do it. I got a bike seat. I did go buy a bike seat yesterday, which surprisingly they haven't called me about. I went and got a bunch of things the other day. They had to get a new lock. The other lock I had was cut and stolen. One of my extra locks I had in the bike rack. It was sitting there one day, and I came back a couple days later. The lock was sitting there, but somebody had cut it. So even having your bike locked in the bike area is kind of an unsafe thing to do because people just come up with those big, huge cable cutters and just go up to it, snap, cut the lock, walk off with your bike. That's how my last one got stolen. They had a cable lock that was about that thick. He had one of those electronic cutters. He just snuck up and put the thing up on his out of his pocket, kind of twisted his wrist, and you couldn't see it really because it was dark. But you could see him hit a button. It was a lock that just cut the lock and pulled the lock off. Took my bike. Fortunately, it got recovered. The police found it. Yeah, in a couple more minutes, I think I'm gonna hang it up, guys. So, has anybody else got anything they want to say before I disappear? I see chat's kind of gone dead. Hmm. Okay, now I gotta go back see how many viewers I've got. I think everybody left the barn. Uh-oh. It didn't do what I wanted it to. Chat rate 0. That's why. Which means current viewers 7, but I don't know. I don't understand that. Come on. Windows 10. What are you talking about? It's dash Windows 10. Windows 10 is, well, I guess they extended it so it won't be dying. Well, it won't be dying next month. They're gonna keep it alive, which I think is a bad mistake. Um, and I guess if people want to pay for it or do whatever, get a Microsoft, I guess they can do that. But I think people should just probably move on, keep moving forward instead of going backwards. Yeah, for the end of life. Yeah, I've already moved on to Windows 11. All my computers, my laptops are Windows 11. I gave up on Windows 10 a long time ago. Yeah, well, I've tried playing around with Mac OS and Apple and whatever. I cannot make heads or tails of that. People say it's an easiest thing. It's easier than Windows to understand, but not to me. It isn't. See, every time I get in front of a Windows computer, I just look at it. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? How do you click on anything? How do you do this? How do you do that? And Windows, I can barely understand, but trying to get Mac OS, no. I just sit there and I'm just completely guessing, not knowing what I'm doing at all on a Mac computer. And then the person I'm over there with or whoever I'm going to see, they look at me and say, "Do you even know what you're doing?" Like, no, I don't. So they kick me out, and then they end up paying twice the price to get someone that does know what they're doing with Mac OS, and they'll go fix their problem for a lot of money. But I looked at it and I I didn't know how to get to where she was talking about. I had no idea on that, so she said she'll find somebody else that knows what they're doing, what they're talking about. Well, I told her on the phone. I said I have no idea what. I don't even know what Mac OS is. And she kind of looked at me and said, "Are you that big of an idiot?" I said, "Yes, I am." So she didn't believe me. She still had me come over there and take a look at it. And what do you want me to do? How do you want me to do it? So she kicked me out. Then she emailed me about 3 days later, and she found a guy, but she paid hundreds of dollars for him to do a 10-minute thing. Mac OS. Oh, okay. Mac OS Mini. I think I've seen a few of those. Um, now I can't think of that guy's name on YouTube. He's got it. He showed a Mac Mini once. Tech Syndicate. I think he was talking about it. And there's another one out there that was talking about a Mac OS Mini. I have to go back and see if I can find him. Budget build with an external SSD. Don't those Mac Minis have Don't those Mac Minis have NVMe's in them? I thought they I thought they did. Maybe they don't. I Like I said, I don't know anything about them, but I thought they were kind of following the same lines as what Windows is, and they up to NVMe's now. But I don't know. I don't know if they do or not. I've never really looked inside of a Mac OS or any kind of an Apple product. Have a PC and a Mac running all the time. So what do you do with each one of them? Being that you have a Mac PC and a regular PC, a Windows PC, what do you do with each one of them? I mean, trying to understand why you have a Windows and a Mac. Actually, I don't. I do understand. Some things you can do on Windows and you can't do on Mac, and some things you can do on Mac you can't do on Windows. So yeah, I think I just answered my own question. You pay for memory with Mac. Hmm. Pay for memory with Mac. Well, you do with Windows too. I mean, memory ain't free either. And what do you got? Like a 256 SSD or something like that? Oh, okay. You run LLMs, and yes, you are right. Yeah, LLMs. Large learning machines or something like that. Yeah, I know some people that do that. I know, and I know a lot of other people too. They have a Linux machine and they also have a PC because some things, a lot of things you can't do on a Linux machine that you can on Windows. And some things Linux can do that Windows can kind of sort of do, but Linux does it better. If anything, I were to get into Linux, I don't think I'd ever get into Mac. And I'd only use Linux for trying to study or trying to comprehend coding, programming. Yep. Yeah, I see Chris Titus use LLMs. Oh, oh my gosh. The way he uses LLMs, and then when they can't give him the right answer, he chews them out. You go type in there. It's why are you being stupid and giving me the wrong answer? Well then, Chris, if you know what the answer is, why'd you ask him? Oh, that guy makes no sense sometimes. He's funny to watch, and that's pretty much why I watch him. If I want a good laugh out of the day, I'll go watch Chris Titus for an hour or two and snap myself into a better mood, and then I go onward. He's getting an iPhone. Yeah, that's the other thing I haven't really touched. I've seen them because there's quite a few people in the building here that have iPhones, and like again, I look at it and I just hand it right back to him. Say, "You can." I just want to stay away from Apple. Me and Mac or Apple, we don't get along. I got this lock the other day from the bike shop, and then they gave me this piece here, and I don't know what it goes to, but I usually don't use their lock accessories like this to attach the lock to the bike where you can just slide it in. I don't do that. So I'll probably just put this stuff aside and but oh yeah, and it's 258. I love BlackBerry and made the move to iPhone and haven't gone back. Yeah, I'm just addicted to Androids. Although the technology of iPhones nowadays, or not iPhones, but Android phones, is starting to get beyond the point of comprehension for me because they've upgraded them to the point where it's got all this new stuff in it, and like, how do you? What is? Why do they have to make phones so confusing? Like maybe even on this one when I got it, it took me a day or two to get used to it. Because I was trying to figure out how things work, how you move things around, and doing whatever. I eventually get it, and half the time I'm guessing. Like, well, I think I can do this, and it just the message comes up that that's not allowed. You can't do that. So, but I need to get a new phone that has this one has 4G. And the newer phone, hopefully with Android 16. This one has Android 8. That's how old it is. um, they got Android 16 out there, and it's got a lot of new features and stuff that I probably won't use. I can't have Messenger on it anymore because I don't have a Facebook account. So that's the only bad thing I won't be able to do is use Messenger. Because Facebook is getting hacked left and right nowadays. There's a guy I was watching on YouTube yesterday, Eric the car guy. His Facebook got hacked. There's another one a couple of weeks ago. I was just randomly clicking on videos, and this guy, well, I don't see it anymore. I think his got taken down, but the way he said it, I can see why it got taken down. But he said hacked again, and the way he started off that video is he shouldn't have said what he said. And I think either Facebook heard it or YouTube heard it and probably got rid of him because he really didn't say anything nice and didn't give him really the chance to straighten out the problem. He said they're just a pile of, and they need to go to effing, and he was just going off on him. And I think YouTube had heard enough, and I went searching for that guy because I wrote his channel name down. And about a week or two later, I went back looking for him. I think YouTube got rid of him. Because he was not being nice at all. He was just really saying some bad words he shouldn't have been saying, and he kept going and going and going. I was like, okay, dude, shut up. You've made your point. But he kept going for a half hour. I think it was like a 32-minute video. And I think YouTube or Facebook got a hold of YouTube and said, take this guy down. What he's saying is wrong. We didn't do that. What kind of cars are you into? I don't have a car. I ride a mountain bike. Yeah, I've heard that before, Head Stash, that iPhones for uh, people that can't see too well and have a some kind of a disability or whatever, that iPhones are actually easier. Yeah, I know you have to adapt, but technology gets to the point where I just don't understand it anymore. Like I've seen these new phones, like I said, with Android 16. I looked at all the new features. It's a whole new, different platform, and they redid everything for Android 16. And uh, I couldn't make heads or tails out of it. Say, yeah, they have this, but why did they add this when they can? I don't know. But eventually, I am going to have to step on some people's toes and walk into Verizon and just whatever they charge me. Because I know this phone is going to die on me one of these days. It is a shattered, broken phone that for some reason is still working. But with that being said, guys, I'm going to go. It is 3:05. I am quite a bit over than what I said I was going to be. And at first, I didn't think anybody was going to show up in chat, so I was just going to shut it down right away. But you guys did show up, and I do appreciate you being here. Um, yeah, I'll have a live stream tomorrow. Same time, same place. I still don't know what we're going to talk about. Maybe I'll dig into some more Microsoft news, find something to talk about. Yeah, you guys have a great day too. And I probably won't watch Carrie. I'll probably just get on Zoom or something and do. I don't know. I'll do something. And I'll find something to do today because I got out of bed around 1. I just didn't want to do anything today. And then I looked at the phone, it's like 1:05. Like, oh shit, I gotta get going. My live stream's here in 5 minutes or 55 minutes. So that kind of forced me out of bed. Then I looked at the phone, and I was like, oh my god, it's 1:05. I was kind of drifting in and out of sleep because I didn't sleep too good last night. I mean, I did sleep, but I think it was after 4 o'clock that I fell asleep. So it doesn't surprise me that I woke. The first time I woke up was at little after noon. And the second time I woke up, it was 5 after 1. That's when I kind of panicked, like, oh crap, I gotta, I gotta get going. Just like I do now. I'm gonna go. You guys have a great day, and see you all tomorrow. Catch you all later. How do you shut this off?